All right, sounds good. Well, thanks everyone for showing up for this. We're going to do a tutorial on Mickey Mousecapade. The focus of this tutorial is going to be for beginners. This is going to be for people who are trying to learn this game in a pretty short amount of time. This is for the 20 game race, which is going to be happening May 2nd at 1 p.m. You can watch that on the Best of Ness channel, twitch.tv/bestofness. And you can get information in the crawl down at the bottom about who to follow, who to subscribe to, etc. to get info about this stuff. We got several experts with us tonight. We've got Whitman Price. If you want to say hello so people know your voice.
Yeah. Hey, how's everybody doing? Hopefully we can show you how to beat this game in 10 minutes or less.
Hopefully. Okay, cool. And we got InfiniteMystery here.
How's everybody doing?
I'm doing well. And we've got Zyre as well.
How's it going?
All right, and the two guinea pigs tonight are myself, I'm Fiesel, and we've got Mythical 9.
Hello.
And we're not experts at the game, but we're going to be playing along and trying to provide the noob perspective on this.
Yep.
Yep.
That's our thing.
That's what we do. All right. So basically, we are going to go through this one level at a time and just talk about what you need to know, bearing in mind that this is going to focus kind of on race-safe strats and not people trying to do world record attempts. And also given that people aren't going to have very long to learn the game, so we're going to try to keep it simple.
Yep. Oh, feel free to play along, whether when you're watching this or if you're watching on Twitch live.
Yep.
You know, load up your emulator and play along. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm going to go to level 1. Does someone want to start out by explaining level 1 here?
Yeah, sure. I guess starting off, there's 5 levels total. Level 1's the funhouse. It's kind of like a maze level. Essentially, you have to find the right path, so that's a big part of it. And I mean, really, with the route, we're going to go through it here, but it's something where you want to watch the video, kind of memorize it. It's really not too complicated. The worst level for memorizing is probably going to be the woods, but you'll be struggling with that so much, you'll play it so many times that you'll have that memorized soon enough anyway. I guess, do we want to go through kind of the basic controls or just kind of the route?
Yeah, well, okay, the basic controls would make sense to explain first.
Yeah, sure. So basically, what you want to do is press B to fire your weapon, but you have to actually collect the weapons first. There's 2 star items that you can pick up in the first level, and you want to get both of them. You get one with Mickey, and it goes 2 stars, so you can shoot 2 stars at once, and then later in the level, you want to pick up an extra star for Minnie, and she shoots 1. So that kind of leads you to the firing mechanic, which is kind of important in the game. Basically, you can have 3 total bullets on the screen at one time. So that kind of is important when you're killing enemies or shooting or killing bosses, because you want to kind of get a rhythm to your shots, so you can have kind of a constant stream of bullets. And then against some of the bosses, if you do end up getting up close to them, you can kind of mash the B button to get more hits quickly. So that's pretty important. But as far as jumping, basically A is to jump. You kind of have a variable jump height where you can hold A, and then you do the big jump. And if you just tap A, you do a little jump. So that's going to be important in some of the levels, especially the ocean level and some of the levels with the platforming, where you have to control your jump height. I guess up and down, climbs ladders, left and right, goes forward and back, pretty straightforward. But one really important thing is if you stand still and you press up or down, then Minnie comes right on top of Mickey.
I see.
And that's really big. If you haven't played the game, you probably don't know why, but when you practice it, you'll definitely understand that Minnie can be a big-time troll. And if Minnie is not on the same line as you in certain jumps, and she doesn't make the jump, you'll have to kind of go back and get her. So that's something that I didn't know at first when I started speedrunning this, but I think InfiniteMystery actually told me about it. If you're far away from Minnie, you can just press up or down, and she'll come right next to you.
Yep.
That's pretty handy. Up or down. And yeah, so Minnie, she follows you, but unlike games where, you know, like Ninja Gaiden or something, like the enemies or the helpers will follow you and they'll kind of like freeze in midair when you stop. If you stop moving in this game, Minnie just drops straight down where she is. So you're going to end up missing a lot of jumps if Minnie is behind you and you don't, you know, follow through on your jump completely and give her enough room to clear it.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, the first level, it's really all about jumping. Shooting enemies is obviously important, but this level, the enemy spawns are kind of random in this game. I was reading about it on the Taz notes for it, and they're not 100% random. I guess nothing really is, but they're really based on very weird things that you can't control while playing in real time. So, like, you look at the very first level, you got those snakes. You're not going to know exactly what pattern they're in. There's a few patterns they can be in, and depending on that, they'll either not be right at the ladder when you climb up, or they will be. So you'll have to really adjust your run through the first level and through a lot of levels based on that. A lot of the enemy patterns are fixed, like in the ocean level or in the woods, but in rooms like this, in the funhouse and the castle, where the enemies spawn on each screen is going to be random, so it can be different every time.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, so I guess when you're starting off, do we want to have Feasel be the guinea pig and kind of lead him through this, or what are your thoughts? That's basically the main thing for the controls. Jumping is something, there's a little bit more to it, but we'll talk to that when we get to important parts. And then firing your weapon, we'll talk to that more when it comes up. But that's pretty much the basic inputs.
Okay. Yeah, well, myself and Mythical are going to play along, but if you want to go through the level and just point out stuff that players need to know about, really, the video, let me see, I looked at your run, Whitman, and we'll be giving people links to these. I'll put a link out later where we can have, or where people can see all the videos we've collected and, videos we suggest to watch, but we've got your run that people can use as a reference, and it seems like the strats that you use in it are pretty much, replicatable by someone learning this game for the race.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that's a good route to follow, kind of strategies to follow. A lot of the stuff I do in there is pretty straightforward. The game's not that hard. Once you really get used to it, it's not too bad. There's really two parts that are going to really give people trouble, and that's the bears in the woods and really the last level of the castle. Those are the hardest parts of the game, but if you get some practice in, you should be fine. This game doesn't take a ton of practice, really, and I think everybody that's in the race will be able to get this one down after maybe a day of practice, and they'll be able to probably play safe, but if they play safe, they can get through it pretty quickly.
Okay.
Agreed.
Alright, so I guess we'll kind of run through the level now?
Yeah, let's play up to the key, right? That's the first thing the first objective?
Well,
Or is
first
it-
objective would be
is the
probably
star.
getting the star.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the star for Mickey.
Alright, we'll play up to Mickey's star. There's 2 stars in
So I'm
this
gonna-
level, and that one of them lets Mickey shoot, and the second one lets Minnie shoot, and we're gonna get them both. So this is the first one.
Yeah, so the beginning, you're kind of just following a pattern. Near the end of this level, there'll be some very important things we'll talk about, but we're going to start off here, and we're just going to go into the next rooms. You don't have a weapon yet, so you kind of have to avoid the snakes. You want to go up the ladders here. You want to jump over these cats. You want to go to the next room. You want to avoid this chandelier, so you definitely want to memorize where the chandeliers are. But basically, it's 3 rooms, then you go in, you get the star. That's pretty easy to start off with. You might take a hit or two, depending on where the snakes spawn. Not really a big deal. There's a lot of cake throughout the level. I would suggest that everybody shoots the candles or whatever they are, and tries to stock up
Lanterns,
on cake as much as
candles.
possible.
Yeah.
Okay, so shoot these lanterns up here. Because
Yes, lanterns.
Alright, okay.
Because they're going to give you health pretty frequently. I guess another thing to look at, I'm going to exit this room. You can actually buffer your inputs when leaving rooms in the castle and in this level, which can be helpful. I mean, it's not a big deal, but if I walk out of this room and I hold up, left, and A, then I'm going to automatically jump.
I see, so then you jump on the very first frame as you come out this door by holding up left A. I see.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And you kind of see I jumped there and that spider was in my way, and that's one of those things, like I was saying, it's kind of random in that case, so you don't want it to be there. That's the worst possible spawn. You see I just went in again and the spawn's changed. But really this room, it's difficult to get not hit at all. There's going to be a spider somewhere in your way, and it'd be nice if you could jump over them both, but not too easy. So you want to keep going, kill some enemies, get some cake. This is pretty straightforward. You want to just practice a little bit, get a feel for how to kill the enemies, but it's really not that hard. The bouncing blue guy there, definitely tough to kill, but if you just walk right under him on the first way, they'll never hit you. On the way back, not so easy. So you can either try to shoot him, which is very hard, or you could time the bounce and walk under him. You can even take the damage, not a big deal.
Well, there is a way to tell if a chandelier will fall or not. If you look on my screen, the chandelier that's on the bottom half of the room is very bright white and blue, whereas if you look on the chandelier on Whitman's screen, where the chandelier is more of a cream and brown colored one, the white and blue ones will fall, whereas the darker colored ones, the cream and brown ones, will not fall on you. So if you don't memorize which ones will fall, which ones won't fall, you could just take a look at the colors, and that will tell you if they fall or not.
Okay, yeah, I see. The brighter white ones will fall, and the sort of off-white ones don't. Okay.
Exactly.
These bouncing blue guys, do you want to always kill them, or do you ever try to jump over them or run under them or something?
I normally try to run under them. I do try to kill them with a couple shots. Like when I'm walking in the room, I'll just kind of mash B to try to get one hit on them. But you
Okay.
can walk under them fine. And then when I'm coming back, as I fall off this pedestal, I try to mash B again. That seems like the best spot to hit them as you're falling off the pedestal. But you have to hit them twice, so it's pretty tough. Normally I won't kill them, and I'll try to walk under them without taking damage. You don't have to worry about too much. Like I said, taking damage is not all bad. But if you hesitate briefly and then start walking again right after you bounce on the ground, you can get under them.
One thing for players, if they want to get a boost, here in this room where there's the 4 lanterns and the closed shutter, if you look, you can see that there's something behind the shutter. So if you open this one, there is a 1-up right here. And it's always there, so you can grab that.
How do you open it? Just shoot it a
You
lot?
just shoot at it.
Okay.
Just shoot at it. It's like 8 or 10 hits will open it, and there's a 1-up right there. Free 1-up for everyone who wants to get it. Just gives you that nice little buffer for those who aren't as confident as Whitman or Infinite on their
Right,
skills
and
in
you
this
don't
game.
have unlimited continues.
No, in fact, you have no
continue.
continue.
Oh, you have no continues. Oh, you have no
You have
continues
no
at all.
continue, so if you game over, you're starting at the beginning of the game.
Okay, yeah, get that one up if you are worried about that.
That's
Yeah.
definitely a good point, and I think that's like the easiest one up, the fastest one up to get in the game, so that's probably your go-to. I guess you start off with 4 lives, but it's actually 5 because 0 does count. So if you have
Yes.
1, and the top right corner says 1, that means you actually have 2 lives. So you do get 0, but you start off with 5 total. So getting the extra life really will help because it is easy to die in this game, and there are going to be some planned deaths in the run most likely.
All right, so it's probably worth mentioning that anytime you can kill a thing in one shot, like one of these lanterns, or open a window by shooting it in one shot, it's safe to get it, and you're going to get some randomly determined drop, which could be health, which is a good thing. But if there's something that you have to shoot multiple times in order to open, then there's a chance that it could be something that kidnaps Minnie, which is something you want to avoid, right?
Yeah, you don't want to shoot any of those. Really, the only one you want is this 1-up, because that's always going to be a 1-up in that room.
Right.
Any other multiple shot window or hidden background item, you really don't want to go after.
Okay, so if it takes more than one hit to uncover something hidden, don't even try it, because you could lose Minnie. And if you lose Minnie, how do you get her back? Let's say that happens to somebody during the race. What do you do?
Well, let's see if I can lose Minnie and I can show you.
All right,
I would say
lost Minnie
reset is a
already.
strong option. No.
reset.
But yeah, what
Um,
happens is you have to go back and find her, and she's always going to be in another hidden area, just like the one you went into. It might not even be a window or a section
so-
like that. Like in the room I'm in now, there's just a spot in the background that you can shoot. And here I got a honeybee from Hudson Adventure Island.
Oh, Zyre just
But,
lost her.
Okay, yeah,
you
I just
lost
lost Minnie. So if you happen to see this, or if you go back and watch the VOD later, you'll see that a pink monster just pops out and takes Minnie. So what you have to do then is you have to find the secret item again. So you have to find it, except for it won't be any other item except for a key. So see there, so a key just showed up for me. So as soon as you collect the key, it takes you to this room here where there's 4 mini statues. And it's just a crapshoot. You just gotta guess which one is the real Minnie. So I'm gonna go with this middle one here. That wasn't her, so now I have to jump in this window to go back. And then I have to find that key again in order to go back in and try to guess which one is Minnie again.
I see.
And
So,
how do you find the secret items? Are they in set spots, or do you just
They're
jump
in
and
like the
shoot?
4 corners. So like the first one that you saw that I had was right here basically on the ladder. There's one right here where this window is. There's one. Basically in the 4 corners of each room, there's a chance for one of them to be one of these hidden items.
is that the case only for the keys to recover Minnie, or also the hidden items that let you lose Minnie?
Any of the hidden items
Okay, anything.
for the funhouse and for the castle. They're in one of those 4 corner spots. So I got lucky and I got Minnie back. So now I just jump back in the window and she's back with me. And before anyone asks, you have to have Minnie with you. You cannot complete a stage unless Minnie is with you.
So I want
So-
some advice on just cleanly navigating ladders with the two characters.
Yeah, I have
Yeah,
the
sure.
problem.
Ladder is definitely a tough part.
Right, yeah,
but
Minnie's
you
always
really
way
want to
behind.
know what you're doing, because like what I just did was Minnie went upstairs, but Mickey's downstairs, and that can definitely be a problem. So there's a few strategies you can use with ladders. I would say the best one is to get used to jumping, even when Minnie's behind you, the right height where we both land on the ladder, and you kind of get up there high. Because what can happen if you time it incorrectly? Actually, let me clear out this room real quick so I can show you a few different strats. Because there's going to be a lot of sections in this level where you're kind of running up to a ladder and Minnie's behind you. So if you jump too far, then Minnie will catch on, because basically you're jumping and then holding up. If you don't jump the right way, then Mickey and Minnie will both catch on, but Mickey will be at the top of the ladder and Minnie will be at the bottom. And you have to wait for her to climb all the way up, so that wastes like 2 or 3 seconds. What you can do when you're approaching the ladder, you can pause, hold up, wait till you're both on the same line, and then jump together, and you get to the top of the ladder, so that's good. Obviously, pausing is not perfect, but it's a safe way to stop, get together, and then land near the top of the ladder. If you don't want to do that, you can time it, so you're jumping, and you both land near the top of the ladder. Now to do that, you kind of want to aim your jump to the right side of the ladder. So you got Mickey jumping up here, and I'm kind of aiming toward that top right. And Minnie's not getting to the very top, but she's getting high enough. Like if you look at I do it a different way, she's not as high there. If you jump too far to the right, then obviously you won't catch on, but she will. And now she's stuck. So we gotta switch sides. And if you don't jump far enough, she'll be at the very bottom. So it kind of depends. I mean, I think the safest way is to just pause, hold up, get in the same line, and get up there. You have to kind of get used to it because you don't want to just stop and wait a couple seconds and then hold up and then get together. You want it to be pretty smooth. You want to be prepared for that. So if you're going to do that strat, set it up nicely, make sure you don't waste too much time, but it can be helpful. And actually, once you get up the ladder, you're going to be together. So if you're in a room, this one's not a good example, but if you're in a room where you're climbing up together and you have to go to the left side, if you just hold up and jump and hold forward, then you'll stay on the same line. So you can actually do that if there's another ladder you have to climb up in the next room, and that'll help you so you stay together and she's not behind you. So that's really, it's ideal to stay together. It's not really realistic to do it the whole time because she's gonna fall behind and that's just gonna happen. But if there's situations where you can get up on a ladder and you're at the same line, then you can kind of keep that going by jumping forward. And it's gonna be important in a later room if you wanna go super fast. But if not, probably the safest thing, just get on the same line, jump high, and you're fine. The other way, obviously, is to try to time it. So you're kind of jumping to the right bar on the side of the ladder, and then pressing up, and she'll be close to the top. You got any better strats than that, I am?
No, that's very sound.
Yeah, try to explain. I mean, there's obviously other ways, and you'll get a feel for it. However works best for you is what to do, but that's just what works for me.
Yeah, one thing that I do just when playing casually is if I'm separated like I currently am, where Minnie's on the bottom and I'm on the top, I could just climb up the top of the ladder and she'll climb up as well. And something that Jimmy pointed out in the chat is that if at any time you're separated from Minnie and you want her to be really close, so like if you want to prepare for the jumps, what you can do is if you hold, as you're moving, if you press down, if you're holding down while you're moving, Minnie will stay right there with you. That can help line up your jump as well. Like that, because pushing down forces Minnie to move right on top of you.
It's the same thing as up, right?
Yeah, same thing as up.
Okay.
Up or down both work. So.
All right.
Yeah, so that's the main strats for moving, and I guess I'll talk about it briefly because you did mention that there's no continues in this game. You actually can start on the same level. I don't know if that's going to be allowed in the race, but if you game over and you hold down an A, and then you press start, you'll start on the same level, and you'll have all your lives, and you'll have these star weapons.
Wait,
Oh,
down
that
A
makes
when
sense.
you start. Okay. That's probably
Yeah, I
going
mean,
to be
what's the
banned.
part about doing that is even if you beat the level, say if you died on the ocean and you lost all your continues, it actually would be better to start at the beginning because you won't be able to continue the level. Whereas I believe in the Japanese version, you'll actually be able to continue the level after doing the code at the title screen.
Huh. That's interesting. I should check with Bad Rakes, but I'm pretty sure the continue code's going to be banned because all the other games that have continue codes are also banned.
Yeah, that's what I would think, but if it is part of it, that could be important because there are situations, like in the castle, if you have 0 lives going in, that's going to be very, very difficult to beat the game without dying in that level.
Well, it's helpful for
so-
practice anyway.
Yeah, you get the star, and then what's next?
Yeah,
We
so
get-
after
we
you
get
got the
key.
star, then you got the key.
Yep.
Yeah, so
So
you get
then
the
the
star, you get the key, then you go up. So you're going kind of the or the funhouse kind of. You start at the bottom left, you work your way up, you go to the right, you go down, you get the main key that lets you leave the whole room, then you go backwards. Now what we're gonna do instead of going all the way back up to the left and down, we're gonna take a death warp, and that's gonna help us. So I guess we'll just keep going here. Most of this is pretty straightforward. Just kill the enemies, shoot the lanterns, try to get some cake. This mini boss is a cat. You can just jump over the cat. Most mini bosses in this game are one-hit kills, so if you touch their sprite, you'll die instantly, no matter how much health you have. The cat is actually not, which is nice. The cat just does some damage. But you can jump over the cat pretty easily. You'll probably take one hit. Oh, I'm about to die. You'll probably take one hit in this level, but you can just jump over the cat and get past. So you definitely want to get as much health as possible for a few reasons. One, because it's really hard to get through all this without losing health and taking hits here or there. But also because when you go to the treasure chest that's going to get Minnie her star weapon, it can be a troll treasure chest or a good treasure chest. It's actually RNG whether you get a star or whether you get an enemy in that treasure chest. And obviously you want to get the star, but if you don't, it's a big problem because then you have to actually get out of the room and go back in and try again. I would say it's probably about 50-50 to get the star or to get the enemy.
Yeah, it's 50-50. I mean, you only get one or the other, and that's pretty much it. One thing to note, when you are on the right-hand side of the house and you see the dancing brooms, they're only vulnerable on their top half. Beware of that. You try to shoot their bottom half and your stars will just go right through them.
That's a good point.
So do you get the star before or after the boss?
Kind of varies. If you're playing casually, some people will, like, when I played it casually as a kid, I would get the star before going to the boss, but in a speedrun sense, you would actually wait till after the boss.
So you can do the death warp?
So you can do the death warp.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that what you recommend to people?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Do you think
it's early enough in the game that it's worth doing it, especially since there's that one free 1-up there earlier in the window. So it's definitely worth it because it'll save you, I don't know, at least a minute, I would say.
Okay, so death warping. All right, so you recommend don't get the star till after the boss, and then when you get that mini star, you should death warp in that room. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, well, you definitely want a death warp. Whether you get the star or not first, it can go either way. I mean, obviously it's faster to wait and get the star because you do less backtracking. But the concern with the room with the star or the troll chest with the enemy is dying without getting the star. That's what would really cost you. So if you don't feel comfortable that you can survive in that room, like after this boss fight, you see I only have 3 bars of health, and you can get kind of low on health. So you want to have as much as possible. In the speed run, you actually want to have as little health as possible because you want to die as quickly as you can after getting the star. But in a race like this, you can't afford not getting the star. And if you die in that room without the star, your death warp takes you to the bottom floor, and you can't go back and you have to go all the way back and try to get it. So that's the worst scenario, is to die in the star room when you didn't get the star. So if you really are worried about that and you want to avoid it, getting that star or trying to get the star before fighting the witch boss is probably better just because you probably have more health. You want to have a decent amount of health going into that room because there are a few enemies, and if you do get that troll chest where the enemy pops out, it's hard to avoid taking any damage, like taking no damage, so you're probably going to take at least 1 or 2 hits, and if your health is too low and you die without getting the star, then you warp down to the bottom of the screen and you have to go all the way back around. or try finishing the game with only Mickey stars, which I don't know if that would ever work. Infinite, have you ever done that before?
I have, but it's very tough. And
Yeah,
over the shots enemy-wise
yeah.
requires.
The task video only gets Mickey's star. He doesn't get a star for Minnie. So obviously it's very much possible, but it's difficult.
Yeah, it's gonna make things a lot harder. So, I mean, if you are low on health, or if you know that you can't get through that witch part in the next few rooms without being at like 1 or 2 health, and you don't want to try to get some cake, maybe you would want to go for the route where you get the star earlier, because maybe you'll have over half health. But the quicker route is to wait. You want to kill the boss, then come back here and get it. Now, like we said, it's about 50-50 whether you get the star or the enemy. The star is the greatest, so you want to get that. But if you get the enemy, what you have to do is walk out of the room and come back in, and it's reset. Now, you're not guaranteed to get the star the second time, but it's a lot more likely. I think one time it took 4 runs to get the star. I got 4 enemies, and then I finally got the star, so you got to be careful. You don't want to be too low on health here, or else getting that enemy could kill you. And if you go to the bottom floor, you're in trouble.
Okay. But say you've killed the boss already, and then you get back there and get the star. Once you get the star, you do want to get killed in this room, because this is where you death warp, right?
Yep, you want to immediately get killed in that room, and you're going to go to the bottom floor. And by doing that, you're right near the entrance, or the exit of the stage.
Okay.
If you didn't, you have to walk all the way back around, and it takes about another minute. So the death warp is huge. Now look at my screen, I actually just got the enemy. So I didn't get my star. But fortunately, I have a lot of health, because I think I took an extra hit from that enemy. But you want to be able to kill the rest of them if you want to be safe. Like, if I have this much health, I could probably just run out of the room, and if I take a few more, it's fine. But if I only have 1 or 2 health, you probably want to stand on that pedestal and shoot, and make sure you kill the troll enemy, because it'll swing back and forth across the room. So you want to kill that first before leaving the room, because you don't want to risk dying here before getting the star.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm going to try that again. Hopefully it doesn't take 4 or 5 times, but you never know. Ooh, I got the troll enemy again. So I'm going to stand here and just shoot. If you stand in this corner, he won't hit you. So you are a little bit safe that way. Obviously, I still have tons of health, so we'll try that again. But that's the danger part of this level. You really just can't die. So now I got the star. And now I can kill myself here.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess those are the strategies right here. I mean, you really need to kill yourself after getting the star. You're going to have enough lives, and if you're worried about lives, then do get that 1-up earlier on. That's the quickest one to get, and it's the best bet. But you want to do the death warp there. I guess the bigger concern is getting the star, having enough health to make sure you don't die in that room before you get the star. 'Cause that's bad.
Okay. When you die in this game, where do you start from? When you die in this level, do you start from the same room that you died in every time?
You'll start from the same room, but the bottom floor of that room.
Bottom floor of it, okay.
Yeah, and that's what makes that death warp there after getting mini stars so effective. It's because you're essentially skipping half the house by doing it.
Okay, but that's the only rule for respawning, is it's always the same room but just at the bottom of it.
Yeah, and same goes for the
That's the
castle
case in
as
this
well.
level. Castle has a few other things too, though, that make it different. In most rooms that'll happen, but if it's in a boss room, then you'll respawn. Or if it's in the final boss room, you'll actually respawn way back where the key is. So don't die to the final boss.
Or try not to anyway.
You don't want to die to the boss in the ocean level or the woods level either, because you go back to the very beginning of the screen. So in the ocean, you'll go back all the way to the beginning of the level, I believe. And in the woods, you'll go back to the very beginning of the last season.
Yeah. We'll get to,
have we talked about this boss yet?
No, we haven't talked about the boss.
Let's talk about the boss.
I've been waiting here at the boss because I think I'm the only one who hasn't killed the boss yet. So, you got a few different ways of handling this boss. You'll note that I have not gotten the star for Minnie. If you want to take it, if there's a safe route that you can go where if you do get the star for Minnie and then come after the boss, you can get Minnie to go, and I failed at doing it, but you can get Minnie to go, climb up the ladder by herself if you get the jump just right. But you get Minnie up there, and then she can be controlled, and she'll shoot at the witch. There we go. So if Minnie had the star, I could just shoot the witch with Minnie and kill the witch this way. It's safe, but it's slower. You'll notice Minnie's not taking any damage. That's one of the gimmicks in this game, is that Minnie is invulnerable. She can take everything just goes through her.
Well,
Mickey's the only one that gets hurt.
Do this whole thing.
I know, it's just weird, and she has to follow you around. So anyway, so one method that you could do that's safe is if you get Minnie Star, just get Minnie up there by herself and kill the witch this way. Okay, as I don't have that, that means I have to do a little bit riskier way, which is basically get up here, try not to take too much damage, but you get hit, and that lets you get past the boss, and then you want to jump over the boss at the right time. Now, if I haven't killed her, so if you take a look at the witch's jumping, she jumps up closer to the pedestal, and then she moves, and then she jumps further away from the pedestal. You want to jump over her just as she's coming down from the jump away from the pedestal. That's the best time for you to jump over her without taking damage.
Okay.
That's as far as getting off the pedestal. To get on the pedestal, if you could do what I did, where you just get hit by one of her shots, it only takes away 1 bar of health, and then you just go right past her while you have the invulnerability frames. Alternatively, if you want to try to not take damage, which is near impossible, but if you want to try, you'll have to jump over here as she's moving, as she's landing from jumping close to the pedestal. It's a bit trickier. It's possible, but it's very tricky. So I just usually take the damage boost, basically. I just get hit and go through her.
Okay.
So, and as Jagger asked, yes, Mickey does have to grab the chest. It has to be Mickey. It can't be Minnie. Otherwise, that would be too easy.
Yeah, that would be too easy. Yeah, but so what you mentioned about getting hit by the projectile but not touching the body of the boss itself is the way to go, because then you only take a little bit of damage and use your invincibility. And that's the same thing you want to do with the cat mini boss and any other strong enemy that you want to pass through.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's used a lot for the bosses and the mini bosses, where you take a hit from their projectile, and while you're invincible, you can walk through them.
So someone asked, can you kill the witch from behind? Yes, you can. So if you really want to go that way, you can. You can kill her from behind.
Just like that.
Yeah, just like I did on my screen there.
And that was a really good explanation of how to jump over the witch, because I've always been way too scared to do that, but I actually feel like I could do it now. I didn't know the good timing for that, but that was pretty clear. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I mean, it seems like she's random when it comes to the jump, but in reality, she only jumps in 2 positions, either close to the pedestal or away from the pedestal. If you want to look at it in terms of the window, she's either jumping on the left side of the window or on the right side of the window. So.
Yeah, definitely a dangerous strat, but overall, if it's consistent, it is faster.
Yeah.
If you're one of the people who's looking to win this thing, then definitely something to think about. So then it's just a quick backtrack over to the mini star and then a death warp. With if you got the star already, you still need to go there and death warp there, right? Because that's
you'll still want to death warp there.
Yeah.
You'll still want to death warp there. It's just straight up faster.
Oh, I see. So even if you get the star first, you fight the boss, and then you got to go back to where you got that star in death warp. So
Yeah,
it really
otherwise
is
you have to
complete backtracking to get it first.
Yeah.
Just make sure you get a couple of cakes along the way to survive any hits from chandeliers, spiders, birds.
But I suppose if you're going to do the mini fights the boss strat, then you do want to do that. If you really want to play it safe, that might make sense then. Get the other star first, have mini fight this boss while you stand at the bottom.
Yep. And it's a bit tricky to get Minnie up there by herself, but with practice it gets easier.
Yeah, I found, or my stream is in the lower right here, I found a method that seems to be working pretty well. So as you walk up to this ladder, you jump and have Mickey go past it, and then press up when Minnie is on the ladder. But you both jump through the ladder and press up when Minnie is on it, so only Minnie climbs it, not Mickey. But the problem is, at that point, once Minnie's climbed to the top, if you try to turn around and walk back, Minnie will climb back down and follow you. But instead, jump past it, hold up so that Minnie climbs the ladder. If instead you jump to the left, then Minnie will go the correct way and she won't climb back down.
Yeah, once she's on that floor, it's really easy to keep her there.
Right, even
And
if
then
she's
you
still
can
on the
just-
ladder, if you jump left, she'll walk off of it onto the floor. But if you just
Yep.
simply start walking, she may come back down the ladder at you, which isn't good.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, see, now that you're up there, if you have Mini Star, then you could just keep firing, and Mini can take out the witch. And Mickey won't take any damage whatsoever.
All right, and then it's just a short backtrack to the door, and that's level 1.
Yep, backtrack to the beginning door that's asking for a key. You go in, and jump to the exit.
Alright, pretty simple.
All right, tell me about level 2.
Getting
Okay.
there.
As soon as I get to the ocean, I'll start.
All right. Well, I'm there, so I can get things started. This one's pretty straightforward. It's not a maze like the Funhouse. It's just a pretty standard platforming level. You just move to the right and get to the end. One thing you do want to be careful of is, besides the fact that you don't want Mickey to fall in the water, you don't want Minnie to fall in the water. And I'm just going to demonstrate this. So if you watch on my stream here, I'm going to land. Mickey lands safely, but as soon as Minnie gets in the water, Mickey dies too. So whatever you do, make sure that both Mickey and Minnie land safely.
Okay.
So that's just the first PSA for this stage.
Right, yeah, you gotta sort of over jump these gaps because you really gotta clear it with Minnie. I find that what I do is I start out, when I start my jump, I start out looking at looking at Mickey to decide when I'm gonna jump. But once I'm in the air, then I sort of pretend that I'm Minnie after that. Like, I switch over which character I'm, like, you know, mentally identifying with, really.
Yeah. And that's a good way to envision it. The enemies that you're going to see is you're just going to see these purple birds that'll fly by and they'll drop stuff that'll hurt. They'll have shrimp that will bounce on the water and then they'll jump really high back at you once they're behind you. Otherwise, then you just got the yellow fish that'll just pop up and then go back in the water. The final couple of enemies you need to be aware of is the waves and the jellyfish that jump out of the waves. As was mentioned before, in the ocean, where the enemies spawn is set, so you don't have to worry about random appearances or just things going awry. Just you practice this one, you learn when they're each going to appear, and you can manage each of them appropriately.
That's cool, yeah, it's 100%, it's 100% triggered by the screen position. No
Yep.
randomness, no global timer, nothing like that.
Very
It's all,
fortunately.
yeah, fortunately.
Yep.
So
So
just,
you just watch the record run, basically, and
yep, and try to
copy
reproduce
the
it.
jumps.
So,
Yep, and
Yeah.
copy the jumps.
right, the thing that I found was tricky was getting over these waterfall plus jellyfish combos. So every wave has a jellyfish that shoots out the top of it. This wave and jellyfish combo, and it seems like some of them you can just jump straight over, and some of them you have to sort of backtrack to juke the jellyfish part of it.
Yeah, that's probably your best bet. I mean, that's one of the enemies that are probably the worst in this level. I mean, a lot of them you just find the patterns out. But with the wave jellyfish, you kind of want to stop in front of the wave, and then as it comes by, you can actually kind of jump to the left and then back to the right. I don't even really worry about the jellyfish as much. I just kind of clear the wave by jumping to the left and then kind of go to the right. Or excuse me, jumping to the left and going to the right. It's actually interesting because in this level, as opposed to the other levels, in the castle and the funhouse, you can actually jump in multiple directions. Normally, if you jump to the left and you try to go right, you just stop. But in this level, you can wiggle both ways.
Oh wow, you get full air control here. Yeah,
Yeah,
some of
you
the other
actually get the air
levels
control.
you can't change directions in the air.
And it's really needed for those waves, because I guess a few of them you can jump straight over, but for the most part, you kind of stop in front of them, then jump to the left, and then go over to the right.
Well, the mechanics are different. You can't hold up or down to make Minnie walk on top of you.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
I
gonna
didn't
guess
know
it has
that.
something to do with ladders.
Huh.
Yeah, that might be it.
If there are
see
ladders on
that.
the stage, that's how it works. And
Yeah.
if not, then it doesn't.
So this is pretty straightforward. I mean, one other thing that's important in this level, but it's more important for the woods. But in this level and the woods, every 8 enemies you kill, you get a diamond drop, which gives you full health. Now in this level, health's not too bad. I mean, if you're getting destroyed early on the level and you're really low on health and you're scared to fight the boss, then you can kind of kill an extra enemy or two to get that 8 kills that'll give you the diamond, which refills full health. But in the woods, it's very, very, very important, which we'll get to later.
Yep.
So,
Alternatively, if you have run out of enemies, or you're not sure if you're going to have enough enemies before the end of the stage, if you take a look on my screen and you're at this point right here, where there's a low bar followed by a kind of, well, not low land followed by a high land. If you jump and shoot at this secret spot right here, there's a diamond right there. That's a full health refill.
all right, let me find that.
So
That was helpful.
it's not it's kind of near the end, but not really at the end. It's more like half to maybe 2/3 of the way through. Something that Jagger just put in the chat is saying is that if there's this full health refill, maybe it's fine to just not dodge most enemies here. I would say yes, but you still want to watch your health, because if I recall correctly, the waves actually deal the most damage out of any of them.
Yeah, about 3 points.
So
Yeah, and I mean, I guess the boss of this really not that hard. Nobody's gonna go too risky. It's kind of crazy. You don't really want to even go to the right half of the screen because you're in danger of the boss jumping and touching you and insta-killing you. So you can kind of stay on the left, and you don't need that much health to beat him. As long as you have maybe half health or so, you'll be okay. So even if you're getting a little bit low, I wouldn't worry about it too much. But if you're down to like 3 or 4 or 5 bars of health, you're probably gonna want to get the refill. And it's pretty natural throughout the level that you're probably going to kill 8 enemies. It's pretty much going to happen. The only thing is just watch where the diamond spawns, because sometimes it will spawn right when you're passing it and you won't get it, and maybe go back for it. But naturally throughout the level, you're likely going to kill 8, so you should be able to get it if you want it, but you probably have to go a little bit out of the way. But don't worry about having full health for the boss. Just as long as you have about half, you should be fine.
For the boss Croc, there's a certain ridge that, if you look on my screen, there's a small area that you don't want to pass, where no matter the Croc movement, the Croc will never go past that certain ridge while it's walking or jumping.
Okay. So he doesn't go past...
Right about the ridge in front of where Mickey's standing.
I see, right where your score is. Like the last digit of your score at the top of the screen, that seems to be the limit.
Actually, it's about the middle.
Was it the middle?
Where the 7 is.
Okay. So do you just tank the hits from these bubbles? There's really no dodging it, right? You just kind of stand there and mash the B button a bunch until the boss dies? Is that the idea?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Pretty
mean, I
much.
guess you can...
If you're low on health, you're gonna have to really try to dodge. But if
Yeah,
you've
you
got
can dodge them. It's not that
5
hard,
or 6
but...
bars, you'll be okay.
I say it's nearly impossible to dodge.
It seems like it.
well, you're able to jump over all the bubbles, even the ones that are bouncing really high. It's just a matter of timing, ultimately. But it is possible to dodge them all. But as was said, if you're going in with most of your health, it's just better to tank the hits and just keep firing at them.
Yeah, and you should be able to kill him with half health probably going in there without too much of a problem. I guess the concern with that boss is the pattern, which seems like it's random, and you don't want him to jump. It kind of reminds me of that Contra boss, where if he stays on the ground, you can just kill him very quickly, but if he starts jumping all the time, it becomes a little more of a hassle, but that's probably the only comparison we're going to get to this game to Contra, so we'll stop right there.
Yeah, although if he does jump, you do kind of want him to jump a lot, because then when he's jumping, he doesn't throw the bubbles. So if you can get into almost the same jumping pattern as him, or at least a nice pattern or repetition or something, I'm not sure what word I'm looking for, but if you can still shoot him while he's bouncing, so there's a question, are there invincibility frames, or can you mash him up close? You can mash him up close, but as soon as your invincibility frames wear off, he's going to one-hit you, so it's generally recommended not to get in his face.
It's better to stay at the ridge it's better to stay at that particular ridge just in case of his sporadic movement.
Yeah, makes sense.
And once he starts jumping, if your projectiles go underneath him, because you can only have 2 of Mickey's stars and 1 of Minnie's, your rhythm's going to get all messed up while those stars travel all the way off the screen. So once he starts jumping, you really want to, kind of stop and start picking your shots, making sure they hit, because every one you miss is going to be a bigger waste of time than you'd think.
Okay, and it definitely makes sense to get as close to the boss as possible if you can only have, 3 stars on the screen at once. So standing under the left side of your score is probably the spot, right?
All right, level 3, the infamous door maze with hidden doors.
The amazing tree maze. Yeah, door maze with hidden doors is as bad as it gets.
Yeah, this level's all about finding the correct path and where the hidden exits are, and that's really not too bad. It's just a maze, but the real enemy in this level is the bears.
Yeah.
Bears are definitely most dangerous. Do not feed the bears.
This level also has the air control, just like level 2, and it also doesn't have the thing where Minnie homes in on you when you press up and down, so it's very much like level 2.
Yeah, the controls are going to be very similar to level 2, so just be aware that there are pitfalls, so the same thing applies. If Minnie falls in but Mickey doesn't, then you still die. So please be aware of that. Beyond that, the few things that I can probably contribute before we turn it over to the speedrunner guys is any of the hidden items, the ones that take multiple hits to appear, they're only going to be in trees that are further back in the background. So like this first one right here on the left-hand side at the start menu on my screen, or on Whitman's, as it looks like he's still there too. They're only going to appear there, but just like before, you're not really going to use them. Instead, what you're going to end up doing is you're going to want to look for the trees that are lower to the ground, like the one here on the right, and you're going to shoot at their trunk to open up doors. And just as an FYI, the fastest route is through the doors that you open this way. You don't go through any doors that are already open. It's kind of, that's one of the tricks, is that if you don't go through any of the currently open doors, ones that you don't have to force open with the stars, you will be sent backwards. You may be sent forwards, but you will be tricked into going backwards eventually.
Okay, so every door that you go through, you need to open up yourself. Now,
yes.
We'll go through it here, which door you need to go to. We'll go through these stages one at a time. But this is the kind of thing where you just get the record run, or get Whitman's 811 run, or any of the videos that we link, and just watch that. It's pretty just a matter of knowing where to go. All right, so you want to do up to the first door?
Let's do it.
Yeah,
Whitman,
sure.
You want to, or Infinite, you want to take it?
Okay.
I'll go ahead and kind of walk us through this. Now, this level, most of the enemies aren't that bad, and in the purple level, there are no bears, so that's definitely a bonus. One thing you do want to keep an eye on, though, is... Actually, something else just happened that was interesting. I don't know if we talked about this in the ocean level, but if you're starting a jump, or you're jumping and you're in air, and you take a hit, you can actually continue holding A and forward, and after the hit, you'll continue your jump. So that's something that's actually can be really helpful in the ocean level, because sometimes you're trying to make a jump between platforms and you get hit right when you're in the middle, right above the ocean. But if you continue holding up, right, and A, you'll finish your jump. And if you're going to get on the platform, you'll continue it and you'll make it up there. So you don't want to just press left out of panic, or don't want to press nothing. You can actually finish your jump if you get hit while in midair.
Right. The same thing happens over this third pit. If one of the birds hits you over the pit, looks like.
Yeah. So actually, in this part, you actually do want to pay attention to your enemy kills. It might be difficult, and if you're not able to, don't worry about it. But ideally, you don't want to get a diamond right here. You would like to get a diamond at the beginning of the next section, because the concern is if you get a diamond too early and get full health, you're not going to be able to refill your health before the toughest bear jump. Because if your health is low for the second set of bears in the next scene we're going to, that can be a problem. So you kind of want to manage your enemy kills so you can get the diamonds where you need them, but honestly, playing it safe is probably your best bet when it comes to the bears. So we made it past these jumps, and you can see here, there's the start for the next, the level actually loops, but this hidden exit is right here before that. So it's after that last pit. I didn't really explain how many pits or how many enemies, but obviously you want to watch the video and find which one it is. It's not hard to memorize at all.
I believe it's 3
this
pits.
last one before the start.
Yeah, I think it's the third pit, right?
I thought I counted 2.
Yeah, it's 2.
Yeah. I've got it down in my notes that
No,
it's...
there's 3. It's 3 pits, and after it's 1 short one and 2 wide ones.
I'll double check that. I could be wrong in my notes.
Yep.
It's worth noting that if you
3 pits.
when you're in spring, if you take the second open tree bar, that takes you to the next season, summer. But during the race, you'll want to avoid this season as it basically serves no purpose.
Okay.
Other than to
Yeah, if
send
you
you
see
back to
green
spring.
trees in the background, you made a mistake.
Okay, and it's eight kills to give you a gem, right? To give you a health
Yes.
refill. Okay.
And that can actually include projectiles also. So it can include the rocks that the bears throw, and also the flowers spit out weapons at you. If you kill those, that counts too.
Okay.
So if you desperately need a farm, like I'm at the beginning of, what is this, fall? This is where the bears
Yeah,
start.
you're-
If you need a farm, there's a spot for it. But honestly, if your health is that low and you have plenty of lives, it might even be quicker to just kill yourself, get your refill of health, and do the level.
Okay. So the main thing is, though, you want to make sure you don't get the health in the very first part of the stage, right? You want to get it in the second screen of the stage.
Yeah, and you can get in
Yeah.
the first one, but if you do, you just need to realize you can't take any more damage until you get to that bear jump, because you are going to get hit at least once in that second bear jump that we're going to show you in a second. So you need to have pretty much full health. If you're at like half health going into that, you can really only take one hit. I'm not sure how many bars they do, but I know that the rocks that they throw and touching the bears do a lot of damage. So ideally, you'd only get hit twice. In a perfect scenario, you can avoid getting hit more than once, but really you need to get either full health there, or you need to kill some of those rocks or the first bear so that you get a diamond right there on that second set of bears.
The rocks
If
take
I'm-
about 3 to 4.
Yeah, touching the bear is like 6, I want to say. 6 or...
Actually, touching the bears is about 7 to 8.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a significant chunk. You just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the rocks are the lesser of two evils, but really, if you start getting hit too much, you're in trouble there. And that's actually a really tough part. We're going to get to that in a second. I guess I'll start moving through this level now. The beginning starts with 2 bears, and one thing you can do is kind of get a rhythm to your shots. What you want to do, it's not necessarily a full match, but if you can get 3 shots kind of hitting the screen, that when these bears pop up, you can get them kind of 2 rounds. It's hard to explain because I'm an idiot, but you'll kind of see what I'm doing. There is a way when you walk forward where you can just continuously shoot and walk. It's really difficult to do, so I wouldn't try it. I would actually stop in front of the bears. But if you do it perfectly and get your rhythm perfect, you can actually just hold forward, mash B, and you'll just get through these bears. We'll show you now by doing a little bit safe. Alright, so we kind of got through those 2. I got hit by 1 rock, which is fine, but not getting hit by a bear is good. You could obviously slow down there. You could stay very safe distance, kill the bear, and then go forward. Or you can kind of get underneath the rocks and kind of in between where the rocks fall on the bears. A little more dangerous, but that's probably your best bet for this race. You wouldn't want to go right up to the bears and keep going forward, but you wouldn't want to wait too far back and go too slow. So there's a tiny bit of a safe area there on this first set, but the second set coming up, there is no safety. So
They'll
right now I have
charge
a
you
pretty good amount of
immediately.
health. So I'm not going to farm these spawns here. I'm just going to keep going. Alright, so now I don't have a good amount of health. But how much do I have here? 8. So I have 8. So I can probably take 2 hits from the rocks and maybe 1 hit from the bear and nothing else. So this is a bit of a dangerous spot to be in. So getting that health on the last screen, that's why it was a problem. Because it's hard to get through this without taking hits. So if I could have gotten that diamond early in this level and been full right now, that's your perfect scenario. But this is the jump, and I'm guessing some other people have tried it, so maybe you noticed that. You have to do a full jump over this pit, or else Minnie's not going to make it. And it's kind of something where even if you know better, you get panicky when you're playing it, and you jump and then you see the bears and you see the rocks and you try to press backwards, and Minnie's just going to fall in, so you can't do it. You have to go all out, do a full jump, and then just start mashing immediately and try to kill those bears. If you kill the first bear, then you kind of move up to the right and kind of get in a safe spot for the second one. But there's other ways to do it. Maybe you want to shoot the rocks to see if you can get a diamond drop. Probably the best way to do this, and I don't even do this when I try, you can actually jump and shoot at the same time. So while you're doing this full jump, I guess I'll try it, but I'm probably going to die. You can actually press B and jump at the same time, and you'll get a few extra hits on the first bear before you fall, before you land.
It totally works. Wow.
Alright, so let's try that out. Alright, so I took a bear hit, and yeah, I didn't have enough health. So there, 1 bear hit took like, what, 7 or 8, like you guys said.
Mhm.
So that's very dangerous. The main thing, though, is you need to have enough health to survive. And what you want to do is do that full jump, or else Minnie's gonna fall down. And no, I'm not gonna farm health. Maybe I should.
Yeah, it seems like
Alright.
the best thing is to try to get that health right after the first set of bears, right? You kill the first set of bears and then get the health from one of the next two guys that comes down.
Yeah. And if you
Yeah.
do count up your enemy kills, you can do it pretty easily, because in that first screen, the purple level, you don't have to kill a lot of enemies. Some will just fly over your head, some you can just jump over. So you can set it up, and that's probably your best bet. If not, you can die here and then get the health refill, but then you do have to play the beginning of this level without taking too much damage.
Alternatively, don't forget there is that set of flowers between the two bears, and if you shoot the projectiles, you can get a diamond out of that as well.
Oh, so I can just sit here and farm these flowers right by this small pit?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Yep, it works.
So there is a little safety spot there. So don't feel like that you have to resort to killing yourself, and unless you're already up to those bears and then you die, then you have no choice. But
Okay.
Yeah.
So oh no, sorry, go on.
Oh, no, I was just saying, so there's like a rare pattern every once in a while where the bears will be far back enough where you don't get hit at first. But when you're making that big jump, prepare to get hit. I guess hope that it's a rock that hits you and not that bear,
Not
so
the
it does
bear.
less damage. But expect to get hit once and just keep mashing along so you can kill that first bear. Because once you kill the first one, you can play the second one a little bit safe.
So what I was doing is jumping over this pit and, over jumping it so that Minnie makes it, and then as soon as they both land, then I have Mickey walk back to the left so he's on top of Minnie, and that gets me a little further away from the bears when I fight them. I find that sometimes makes it a little bit less likely that I'm going to get hit by the bears.
It's not a bad idea.
Sometimes
I
that-
haven't really tried that, but if it works.
Yeah,
The
because
first bear sometimes just gets on top of you, though.
sometimes
Like, I
he'll go
almost
all
feel
the
like
way
you
up to
just,
that
You
pit.
just want to... If he gets that close, I think you should just spam and kill him before he gets to you.
Right. But often he doesn't go all the way up to it. He'll stop, a tile or so short. So if you move back to the left so that you and Minnie are right at the edge of that pit, you can avoid a bear hit sometimes.
Yeah, and you can see, I think, on InfiniteMystery stream, he's going for a different strat where you actually damage boost through the rocks and just go past the bears.
The lag
It can work,
strat.
but it can also be dangerous.
yeah, it's a bit risky.
Isn't there just a ridiculous amount of lag if you leave one of the bears
That's
on the
the
screen?
thing
though?
I always notice. The lag just gets crazy when you do that.
Yeah, because there's no limit to how many rocks they throw on the screen. They will throw as many as they want.
Yeah, but that jump over the pit into those two bears is probably the hardest thing in this level.
It is.
Yeah.
And maybe even the whole run, honestly. I mean, there's really not
Yeah.
that much that's
I'd say
this
that's
difficult.
either the hardest or the second hardest thing, give or take what you think of the castle and some of those jumps. So I would say this is somewhere to practice. You want to practice this, you want to be confident going through it, because if you die once here, you can kind of get the nerves going, and you do start at the beginning with full health, but you still have to get past that first set of bears and a couple pits even before you get to this big pit again. So you want to get confident with this level because things can go wrong, and that might be another reason why it would help to have that extra life.
Right.
Yep.
Or you want to be okay
Sometimes
with
the bears
farming.
work to your advantage, sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so fortunately, right when you kill those bears, you get the exit door. It's pretty much right after that, the next tree, so you can go to the winner. I guess looking at my screen, my health is really bad, so there's not too many dangerous enemies here, but I'm going to try to kind of farm some of them so I can get my diamond. I lost track of the count, but it doesn't really matter. I'm going to go a little bit slow here, and hopefully I can get the diamond before I get the bears, but since I did not, we're just going to play it super safe against the bears. See? So that is one route. You can play pretty safe against all the bears except for that one set that we're talking about where you have to jump over the pit. That's the only one where there's really no safety strat necessarily.
You can even spawn them one by one if you want.
I
Yep.
just had one
Yeah.
despawn.
Yeah, if you're lucky and they jump backwards, they can despawn on their own. But
Yeah,
if you
so, I mean,
move
that's the
forward
good thing.
slowly, you can get them one at a time.
Yeah,
Oh, I see.
that is the thing about this. There are going to be diamond drops after every 8 enemy kills, and there's a ton of enemies in this, so don't get too worried about having low health unless you have to have a tough bear fight. But even if that is the case, then maybe play it extra safe and shoot the rocks that they throw, and make sure you can get your diamond and get that health refill.
And jump over those
So,
pigs that come
the-
at you from the back.
Yep.
Yeah, now those are actually a weird enemy. I guess they're like the flying Medusa. Oh no, you're talking about the pigs on the ground.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
like flying Medusa head type enemies that kind of go up and down and up and down. There's one on my screen now. In most cases, you actually want to just keep going forward, keep running to the right, because if you slow down and try to kill them, then they'll just come back at you from behind. But even if you take a hit from them, if you just keep going forward to the right, then they'll be done for you. So you kind of want to avoid those, but if they do hit you and you're able to, just keep going to the right and they'll leave you alone. But if you kind of turn around to fight them, they'll come back after you. So the winner's not really that hard. If you're worried about health, this is kind of a level to slow it down a little bit. Make sure you get your diamond, make sure your health's set up. But you have to go through the whole level and then back to the start, and that's where the hidden door is, right after that start. You can't get it at the very beginning of the level, obviously. If somebody figures out how to do that in the race, then they're my hero, but now you have to go through the whole level and then get that right after the start.
Okay.
So that takes you to whatever season this is. It looks nice though.
I just call it the garden.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like a gigantic garden, like Jack and the Beanstalk or something, and Mickey and Minnie are just tiny little people. But this one's kind of tough. There's some precise jumping. I'm kind of used to it. Like, I kind of wait till the end there, and then do 2 jumps to get over those guys. Oh, shoot, that was almost bad. But there are a few tricky spots here. You want to kind of memorize the pattern for this. It's almost like the ocean level, where you know where all the enemies are coming at. They're pretty consistent, and you want to just do the right jumps, kill the right enemies. I like to slow down a bit for those guys, and then keep going. The rocks are a little bit weird. You kind of want to land on the rocks and do a quick jump so you don't get stuck in between them. But most of it is really the pits, getting through the pits and not taking too much damage. But fortunately, if you do even take a lot of damage, there are some health drops in this level, and obviously there's so many enemies that you can farm if needed. So I think Infinite Mystery is going for the Hudson B there. That's one thing you can try to do. I don't really advise it, but I would say this flower that I'm at now, which I guess you got to kind of learn the route and know where it's at, is always going to have something in it. Now, it's probably going to have a full health drop, which actually can be beneficial as well, but sometimes it'll have the Hudson B, which will let you actually quick kill the boss if you execute correctly. So right now it had a diamond, so it's just full health.
Well, actually, you got plenty. If you get the fairy, I think that's what it actually is, not the Hudson B. But if you get the fairy, then you have plenty of time. You could just barrel your way straight to the boss screen, and even if the fairy's starting to fly away, as long as you make the transition occur before she goes off screen, she ends up resetting back at you, so your invulnerability extends even further.
Exactly.
So
you can quick kill the boss, even if it's kind of leaving, it'll come back, and then by the time you get to the boss, it'll still be there.
I see.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, where I got the invincibility, it was way too early of a flower. So from that far back, you'll never make it.
Yeah, I noticed. I think it's the last 2 orange flowers that you can get it on, and you'll be able to make it.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
And the last orange flower always has something, so it'll either be the bee or the diamond for health.
There is a purplish flower right after a pit that always nets you a 1-up, so if you need extra life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing to point out. So this purple flower, no, it's the second low purple flower. No, the third low purple flower. Just kidding, it's the 4th low purple flower. Yeah, number 4. Always a 1-up. Boom. Okay. And then it's...
Tell me about this boss, because I went up against him and I killed him once pretty easy, but other times he's giving me trouble. Also, he seems to have come like right up on me if you look at my screen, and I'm pretty sure he's a 1-hit kill.
Yep.
Yep.
We're pretty close.
Yeah, he's a 1-hit kill. He does have no boundaries. He will go all the way up close to you. The only real safe spot is if you're on the far left side of the screen, and he just throws out projectiles like crazy. Your best bet is just to tank, just like the crocodile, tank the hits and just keep shooting at his head. That's really the best thing you can do. Ultimately, however, you want to hope that you get lucky and that from the red flower drops you get the fairy, because then what you can do is you just, so long as you're still invulnerable, you just run up and face plant him and he's dead.
Yeah, I would definitely say practicing this boss is a good idea because it can be tricky. I struggle with it a lot. If you don't have the fairy, which it's pretty rare to get the fairy, I would say. probably like 20 to 30% maybe from my experience, but getting practice is a good idea. One thing that you can do that sometimes helps is if on your way up you shoot 3 shots at his head and then you get hit by one of his projectiles, then you'll kind of freeze in the air and you can actually shoot 3 more again. So you can kind of get 6 shots for 1 jump. I mean, obviously you're taking that hit in the middle, so it does slow you down a bit, but that's one way to kind of make sure you're getting him in the head. So if you get hit by a projectile and you're still up in the air, then be careful with it because you might be able to shoot him again 3 more times.
Yeah, it seems to be really easy to hit him in the head if you just take a hit in midair. It like removes your vertical momentum, and so you start out kind of like very slowly moving downwards, and you can pack in 3 hits, you know, all within the same space.
Yeah, so that's the key of these levels really. It's getting through that bear section, and then the final boss, kind of just practicing up on him, making sure you're confident to beat it, because if you die in that boss, then you do actually go back to the very beginning of the screen, and it's a pretty long screen. It'll probably take you 45 seconds or so, maybe a little less.
I've noticed my shots keep hitting his projectiles a lot, so I think it's your instinct is to just start throwing your own projectiles out there, but I think it's probably worth trying to really pick your shots a little bit, at least when he's really far away.
And just hope that he doesn't charge you right away.
Yes, that's
Do you try to get close to him, or do you try to just stay far away and fight him?
Normally I stay far away and fight him just to prepare for him charging.
Right.
But I'm actually starting to just go up close to him as fast as humanly possible just to get more shots in.
Yeah, but then once he charges you, you gotta run away quick.
No, if he charges at me, then I'll take the hit from one of his projectiles and then go to the right, or keep shooting at his head.
I see. Just take a damage from his projectile and walk through him. That's clever.
Even though to know he can, may, and will possibly come back to the right, but by that time, we should have more than enough shots to get rid of him.
Alright, so what's this next level then? Is this some kind of pirate ship?
Very short
Yeah, pirate
level.
ships, the shortest level of all time. It's like, what, 4 rooms?
Yeah, it's only 4 rooms. Kind of similar to and your jumping abilities are going to be similar to that of the funhouse again. So if you try to turn around midair, you just stop. Again, it's probably because of the ladders. But things to be aware of is just the pink guys, the ones that are walking on the ground, they will speed up as soon as you're on the same level as them. Just be aware of that. Pretty much all the enemies in here are going to deal a decent amount of damage to you. So damage mitigation is pretty huge on this stage, especially since there's not enough enemies for you to really get a diamond. And there's no, as far as I've been able to ever tell, there's no hidden items either.
Nope.
So you really have no way to refill your health.
Yeah.
The only
And
enemy
this
on the
first
stage that doesn't actually do any real damage would be the small pink bird.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in this stage, it's really important to avoid the little guys that run. What have they got, like a pink hat on, little pirate guys?
Yeah, little pink
Because
pirate.
they
Yeah.
will run at you and they can do some damage. And really against the sharks, you're going to have to take at least 1 hit against each of them. So in order, like my goal in this level is always just to get through it with enough health that I can kill Pete quickly with both mouses, both Mickey and
Mice.
Minnie,
Mice.
if you will. Meese. But yeah, so I try to avoid getting hit by these guys, which can be tough because you do have to slow down in some sections. Like their pattern or where they're running, I guess it's kind of random. So when I come in the room, I always try to get on this ladder, turn slightly, and kill the pink guy, and then wait till this guy's on the ground to the left of me, so that I can run through and jump over him. If he's on the ground to the right or to the middle of the screen coming at me, then he's gonna hit you. But if he's going to the left, then you can land on the ground, wait till he runs, jump over him, then go to the next room. So going in the next room, you're going to take 1 hit at the beginning, which is fine, and you kind of mash shooting as you go in there, but if you stand on a certain spot, you can avoid getting hit. Actually, it looks like he is hitting me. I don't know how that's going through me. It's like going into my ear and not doing damage. But this is kind of the spot. I think it's maybe a little bit further to the right also. So it's a little bit of wiggle room. But you take that first hit, and then you run to this spot, mash him, and he won't hit you. So you take only one hit so far, and that's your best bet. And you can see on my screen, he's just shooting away, having a nice conversation. He kind of reminds me of those shark guys from Mario RPG, but I don't think they shot little... What is he shooting? Skulls or something?
The skulls, they
I
look
want to say
like.
they're skulls.
Yeah, but so that's the best way to kill him. You want to find that spot, learn it, and then you can get there. So you're going to take the one hit, but if you didn't get hit by the fast guys on the top screen, you don't get hit by these guys, and you don't get hit by the next fast guy, you're in pretty good shape. These ones you can go pretty quickly. I'm just kind of sitting here because I'm talking, but they're pretty safe to go through. Now this one you want to kind of mash early, and then jump over the first set of skulls if you can, and then you have to just start mashing, because I don't know if there's a safe spot after that first hit, but you're going to kind of jump over that first one, you're going to get hit, and you're going to mash. You only take one hit. So far you've only taken a hit from each shark. The health I have now is plenty to kill Pete with both Mickey and Minnie going up there to quick attack him. If I got hit by this little guy up here, then I wouldn't have enough health, in my opinion. It's probably possible to still do it, but it's very risky. So if I got hit by this guy, I would do the safe kill. If I didn't get hit, then I would go up there and try to attack Pete with both mice.
It's worth noting that the guys who shoot the mask at you is a one-hit kill, sprite-wise.
Yeah, don't touch their bodies. They will kill you immediately.
Yep.
So yeah, this guy, it kind of depends on his pattern, like when you're here, what side of the screen he's on. If he's just past you like this, you can just go there and jump over him, but most of the time he's not. Most of the time you kind of have to wait for him. So almost at that point it becomes a choice. Shoot, I didn't want to get hit there. Do you want to wait for him, or do you just want to go up there, take a hit, keep going, and then do the mini kill, which isn't all that much slower. And sometimes if you wait here, it might even be faster to kind of rush through it, take an extra hit, and kill Pete with mini. You kind of have to work on that mini kill though. It's a little tricky to do it quickly.
Right. Okay, let's talk about this boss fight. Why don't you talk about, let's say you get there with enough health that you want to just fight him normally. Why don't you explain that first?
Alright. Well, unfortunately, I'm on console, so somebody that's good at this game can get there with more health than I got there with. That would be good.
Okay.
Because I'm scared right now. What do I have? I have 6. I don't think I can survive with 6 because
No.
he takes 2 damage per hit.
Yeah.
I haven't really done it with both mice, but I'll give it my best shot. Basically, because I think I'm at full health.
About 4 hits is what you should expect to take, so you're going to need more than 8 bars of health to do this, I think.
Yeah, because the knife, you're going to get hit by the knives no matter what. You're going to get hit a couple of times, even running up to Pete. But the basic idea is you just run up as close as you can, because then the knives won't block your shots, and you just flood his face with stars. So I'm going to give that a shot here. I can't say I've always been that successful at it, but let's see if I can...
Yeah, I have about maybe 10, so that's good.
Yep, see. So there it was just on my screen. Again, you'll have to come back and look at the VOD to see it again. But it basically is you just take a hit, run up there without touching him, and just shoot all the stars as fast as you can.
Right, and make sure you grab the ladder so that both Mickey and Minnie are on it, and so you don't
Yes.
lose Minnie as you try to get off the ladder.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you get used to the pattern, you can kind of shoot him while you're walking towards him on the lower level, and then when he jumps, you can jump and hit him in the head, and then coming down, you can hit him again. So you kind of get used to the rhythm if you have both mice up there. But if you don't have enough health, don't go for it.
Yep.
Because if you die on Pete, you go back to the beginning of the level, and it's never good.
Which fortunately it's still a short level, so
Yeah. But if you really want to play it safe, like you don't have enough health or whatever, then just send your girlfriend up there. She can take care of him.
Alright, so let's talk about that method then. So this is
So
similar to what we talked about in level 1 that you could do if you decided to get the early mini star.
Yes. So it's just the same thing. You just send Minnie up there by herself and then just control her from below. So I'm going to try to get up there. As you can see, I'm taking some hits, and so I don't really have enough proper health to take on Pete with both the mice. I'm going to see if I can. So
Well, I think
it's just the
Infinite
it's just the
Mystery.
same trick. You just
Easel there.
it's easier here because you can because the wall will stop Mickey. So you just get Minnie up there, and then you just keep firing, and just aim your shots with Minnie. And since she mimics Mickey's movement, you just put her right up there.
And you have her jump when he jumps, or when Pete jumps.
Yeah, it's slower, but it's safer and pretty easy.
Okay, so getting Minnie up there on her own is something that is a little tricky. There's a couple different ways to do it. As I was messing with this game earlier, people suggested like 3 different ways that it could be done.
Yeah, so you just basically figure out whichever method works best for you as to how you do it, whether it's via jump. Well, you pretty much all of them involve jumps, I should say, but like when you time the controls and everything, that varies.
Right. The thing that I found worked pretty well is you have both of them jump at when they get to the ladder, but you have Mickey go past the ladder and you press up when Minnie is over the ladder. But you have them both jump through the ladder and then you press up so that Minnie grabs it. And then you keep holding up so that Minnie is climbed all the way up to the 2nd floor. I can't get it right. So that Minnie climbs all the way up to the 2nd floor, and then to get her off the ladder, you jump to the right. And Mickey will jump to the right and she'll just walk off the ladder. And from there you just walk right up to him.
Yep.
Yeah, that's your best bet, kind of jumping past it, and then when Minnie's at the ladder, you can hold up.
Hold up.
Go up there.
Yeah, and then the tricky part is just making sure that she doesn't climb back down, and I find jumping to the right helps, but there's other ways to do it.
You can hold up as well.
You can hold up, and she'll walk off of the ladder eventually.
Yeah, because she's receiving the same input as Mickey, so she's like, oh, I'm supposed to be going up, and so when you go walk past and you're holding up, she has to climb up.
But then she climbs back down it again once you start to walk to the right is the only problem. If you keep holding up,
if you're holding up while you're moving to the right.
Oh, you hold up while you're moving to the right. Oh, I see.
Yep.
And then she'll pass the ladder without climbing back down it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Ah, that works. Huh.
All right, last level then.
Okay, sounds
We
good.
have the castle.
All right.
Yeah, the castle's probably the toughest level. A big part of it's these jumps, getting on these platforms, and getting Minnie to follow you. Sometimes she doesn't want to do that, which is no good. On this level, like the funhouse, you don't want to just start shooting all these things on the wall that are hidden ones. Shooting the normal ones is fine. If the window opens in one shot, that's good, because I always try to hit every window if I can as I'm going fast, because there are a lot of cakes in there, and you're definitely going to need them in this level. It's pretty much impossible to get through this level without losing some life, so if you can get the cakes and stay near full health, that's really going to help you at the end.
So it's random whether the window is going to be a one-shot window or a multi-shot window? Is it random?
It's kind of random. I mean, it is random, but most of them, there's not going to be that many multi-shots. It's more one-shot than multi-shot.
Okay.
You're going to be able to tell when it is because it'll just hit it and you'll kind of see that star stop and the window won't open. And it does take, I believe, 10 shots, maybe 8 to open it. So as long as you don't just sit there and shoot it, you're not going to open it because it's dangerous to open those. There's really no reason to open any of them in this level unless things go terribly wrong, because there's a good chance you're going to get that enemy that steals Minnie, and that's just going to ruin your whole run.
Okay, so if you see the window takes multiple shots to open, leave it alone.
Yeah.
Alright.
Like, so as you're walking in here, this first one, you kind of want to time the jump so you can open this first window, kind of get used to it. And then go in this next room, pretty easy. You want to shoot immediately because that guy's going to be on the ground. The pink and the red flying guys, it's kind of random where they're spawning. So if the red one comes near you at the bottom, you really want to shoot him or avoid him. It's tough to kind of jump, shoot, and kill these guys in the air. You kind of have to get used to it, the timing. Sometimes you'll miss them. But the red guys do 2 damage, the pink guys do 1. So try to avoid the red guys.
Okay.
Well, and also pay attention to the fact that the red guys will follow you. So be aware of that.
Alright, so this is I'll give you a quick example of some of the jumps. Like this one is tough to get Minnie up there sometimes. Like say you jump from too far away, she doesn't make it. If you jump really close, you're probably okay. If you want to be safe and you stop, hold up, and then jump together, that's fine. And if you do that, it can kind of set up your next jumps, I guess. I never do it this way, but I guess that would work. Actually, yeah, that does kind of work. That might be a safe way to go, but I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say that, you know, pressing up or down, and just getting Minnie to be on top of you, really will set up at pretty much every jump. And if you can keep Minnie on top of you, it will make the stage fairly easy.
Exactly. That's the key to this level, really.
Yeah.
And things kind of get messed up. Like here, she's at the top and I'm at the bottom. Even if you're on different platforms, if you hold up or down, she'll find you. Or most times she will.
Yeah, it
So
seems
this
like.
one.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
I'm sorry. No, I was gonna say this one pretty easy, but things get a little bit tougher. And obviously, when there's enemies, that's when you run into a problem.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to just hesitate for a moment, holding up so that Minnie gets on top of you, and then just keep holding up for all the rest of it. Just do all the rest of the platforming holding up. Seems to work. For me, at
So
least.
you kind of get through that part. If you're in trouble, you need to kill an enemy, great. Worst case scenario is obviously taking too much damage. That would be really bad, but also if you just get hit in the air and then Minnie falls to the floor and you're on the top, then you just have to go back down and get her. And if you have to go back down and get her at any point, I would say just hold up, get her on the same line, and then do your jumps. So I'm trying to kill, or not kill, I'm trying to shoot these windows as I jump. There's kind of a rhythm to get up there, like you can see this one. That one's a special window, so I don't want to hit it anymore. But if you kind of make this jump, ooh, Minnie, come back, and you hold up, right, and shoot, you'll actually shoot the window as you're going up, so you can get that cake if it's in there. So there's kind of a timing to the jumps, kind of what you're doing there when you're attacking, because it's difficult to shoot all these windows for cake and also kill all the enemies at the same time. I mean, don't sacrifice your run just to try it, but it is important to get cakes throughout this level because you are going to take damage. Alright, so those rooms aren't really that hard. I mean, the first time you play this, you're going to have trouble making these jumps, keeping Minnie with you, and avoiding enemies. But the section's not that bad. This room can be very tricky if you don't know what you're doing. What I do is 2 jumps, jump up here, take damage, and then jump. And then get your key. You can run into problems if you don't take damage and try to jump really quickly, because the enemies can knock you off. The way I jump, Minnie doesn't come up with you, which is good. You don't want Minnie to come up with you. But if you don't do it kind of precisely like that, then she can come up with you, and that can be a problem, because she can kind of get stuck in that next area. Now you can still do the trick where you hold up or down and she comes next to you, but if you guys are both stuck in this whole area, it's kind of hard. So when I go into the room, I kind of do 2 tap jumps to get up to the second platform, and I do a big jump to get up here. I take a hit from those bees because I want to be able to do a free jump after that. And if you don't take a hit from those bees, it's kind of likely that you're not going to make it up there. Like, it's really hard to get all these jumps perfect without getting hit. So I normally take the 2 jumps, get up on that second platform, then I take a damage from the, what are they, dragonflies up there?
Yeah,
and then I
dragonflies.
jump while I'm invulnerable, so they don't hit me again and knock me down. So this room's kind of tough, but it's really not that bad once you get used to it. You just want to have a consistent strat to get through it. Should I show Minnie getting stuck down there, or
Why not?
too big of a deal? Yeah, alright. So say you do want to jump with Minnie, or even if you don't try, sometimes she will get stuck up there. Which I can't even get her down there. So occasionally she will get there. I don't even know how to do that anymore, obviously. But it is possible. I know that used to happen to me before I got good at this game, so somehow it'll happen, and she'll get down here. And it's just kind of tough to get her with you. Like you see, she's kind of hitting her head here. It's hard to get out. But what you want to do, I guess, is just kind of get her next to you, slow it down, get her next to you, and jump out of there. That's going to be something that really helps in this level, is taking your time a little bit. You'll get better with more practice, but you got to take your time a little bit to make sure you guys are next to each other, because that's going to help on all the jumps. And after a while, you'll realize this level's not that hard. The ending's kind of tricky, but the jumps you can get figured out. And as long as you have an extra life or 2, you don't have to worry about health as much either, because you can do a few death abuses to make sure you have full health, and they don't really cost much time at all. So you got the key, now you want to get out of there. So let's run away, and I'm going to keep shooting these because I do want more health. Like, I just got one there. I'm going a little bit slow here. Now this part's a little bit tricky. When you jump down these holes here, the next 2, you can actually get stuck. Like, if you don't fall through at the same time, then the mice will just start bouncing sometimes. And I think what has to happen is you have to make sure they both come through at the same time, which not sure how to guarantee that that works, because occasionally I do get it where they're stuck up there, but you probably want to keep an eye out for that. If it happens, fix it. And now I got Minnie all far away.
Wait,
So
so
let's see if I can get that to happen
if
here.
one mouse goes down before the other, yeah, you do just sort of bounce there for a while.
Yeah, you can see now, Mickey's sitting here, and Minnie didn't make it, so he just bounces, because they have to go together. He will not leave her no matter what happens. No matter how many bear maulings he endures, he'll keep her by his side. So in this case, I'll just walk to the right, or walk to the left, and I think she'll fall down with me. But sometimes they'll be bouncing at different angles, and it'll take a while to get down, but, I mean, I don't think there's anything you can do there. Just deal with
If they're both bouncing, what you can do is Mickey can jump. If you hold down the jump button, then Mickey does a higher jump, and that offsets his jump timing so that they can try to start syncing up.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that'd probably be the way to go.
So like I've got Mickey stuck down here, so I dropped Minnie at the right time, so I was able to make the transition. But yeah, you can hold down the jump button, and that'll help.
Yeah. So I guess we'll go a little bit more depth in this, because this can be a really tricky section, these fall down areas, because a bad thing can happen after the second one. So we're going to fall down there, love getting cake, and you can kind of wiggle your way down there to get there pretty quickly. But I just fell down, and I landed on this platform. If Minnie is too far to the right when she falls down this, she's pretty much going to fall all the way down to the floor of the next room, and that is the last thing you want. Because then, actually, that was too good. If she falls down here, then you have to climb all the way back up, go all the way to the right, and it wastes about 5 or 10 seconds. So you want to make sure that Minnie is not over to the right. And if she's too far to the right, you kind of slow it down, kind of hang in this left corner, have her come back to your level, and then kind of walk down here. Because this is a little dangerous spot right here. It's kind of easy for her to fall down, and if she does, it could be problems.
So the place where you do the screen transition affects where you appear on the next screen, right? In these falling down sections?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. So then you keep going. These rooms aren't too bad. This one's a little tricky to avoid getting hit, because that guy can spawn in a lot of places, and right there he spawned right on top of me. Please go away. Thank you. I've been messing around, so I've taken a little too much damage. So I'm going to jump right into that dragonfly's face and take one. Yeah, so I'm going to try to get a few extra health here, because I am going to die. Like, my health isn't good enough to beat the game now. Ooh, that was not good. I don't want to die here. You actually want to die... Oh, that was perfect. I'm surprised I didn't fall down there.
So if you
So
need
I'm gonna
health,
respawn.
you can kill 8 enemies until you get one, but can you also farm windows? The windows will respawn if you just keep re-entering?
They will, but the enemies will respawn too. Now, actually, in this level, it's not 8 kills. It's only in the ocean and the woods.
Oh, okay.
So you don't get a full health diamond in this level, you don't get it in the funhouse, and you don't get it in the pirate ship. Well, I don't think you do in the pirate ship.
Oh, I
don't think
see.
there's enough enemies
Like I
anyway.
said, there's not really enough
Yeah, I've
enemies.
never seen
I don't think
anything on a
there's.
pirate ship.
Yeah, so that's a problem, because it would really help if you could just kill 8 enemies and get a full health, but you don't. It's all about the windows in this and the funhouse. Now, there are these secret windows here where if you shoot them, something will come out. Oh, never mind, that was a regular window. But it's not worth it. It's too much of a risk. You really want to just manage your health so that you can kill yourself in the right area and then respawn with full health. So, yeah, you got to get those health things in the window. It's important because it's tough to get through this without taking a lot of hits, and you want to be as close to full health as possible. So the room I just went through was really tough. This next one I think is just as hard, and it's really all about the enemies, because if they spawn right in front of you, it's very hard not to get hit. And I'll probably die in this one, but if you do it perfectly, yeah, I'm dead. You can actually get through. Like, the quickest way, I think, is to do that first jump onto the lower grade platform, then do a good jump to that next grade platform in the middle, and then jump right to the door at the end on the top. But it's really tricky to do that, keeping Minnie with you, and if you try to slow down to put her on the same level as you, you'll probably get hit and it can mess you up. So there's a few other ways you can do this. You can kind of go under, walk to the next grade platforms and jump on those. You can actually walk to the corner of the room where I am now, and then jump up to the left on that platform, and then center yourself and then jump to the right at the top, and you can get up there, but it is kind of tricky. So in this case, I'm about to die, and I'm not going to be able to get enough health. I should probably know how many damage Pete does, but I don't really remember. I think it's 2, but it might be 3. So we're not going to mess around with getting past him after I get a piece of cake. I'm just going to die. This room is fine to die in. If you die in this room, you're going to spawn in the bottom middle, and then you can just kind of walk over to the right, get your mice lined up, and then jump up. and you're okay because you have full health pretty much. And even if you take one hit, you still have a good amount of health. But it's not ideal. You actually really want to die, if you're going to, 2 rooms to the right from here.
After Pete.
Because if you die 2 rooms to the right here, at the top of that room, you respawn at the bottom, which is where you want to go. So that's the least time costly place to die. And it's really not very likely to get there with enough health to safely kill both bosses, unless you kill them a very safe and slow way, I guess. So I'm pretty much planning to take a death if I do this race in the room 2 over to the right. So you want to make sure you have at least 1 life going into this level.
Okay, so you take a death before the Pete room if you are not confident that you're going to beat him, but if you think you can get through Pete, then take the death right after him.
Exactly,
Correct.
and you should only take 1 hit from Pete. We'll see it in a minute. I think it takes away only 2 bars, but it might be 3.
I believe
so
it's
you can
3.
get through him like that. But I'm going to kill myself here. I'm going to spawn in the middle of the room. I'm going to get my mice together and then run to the right so I can jump up there quickly. I don't think it's too hard, but it kind of depends on where the enemies spawn. Like, that was kind of bad. I still made it through, but I could have got hit. So I always wait for the 3rd knife. You want to get close to him, because if you don't get close enough, your invincibility is going to run out. If you get hit in the middle of the screen and you try to go past him, you're going to die. If you try to jump over him after that, it's not going to work. You really have to get pretty close to his face, and then jump up, I would say, for the 3rd knife. I think that's the earliest knife you can get, and then you can walk through.
And taking the knife is better. If you're not planning on fighting Pete, taking the knife is better. The knife will only deal 2 points of damage, whereas Pete will one-shot you.
Yeah, definitely don't touch Pete. Also, I've noticed that your invincibility might start to run out, and you can sometimes jump over him. Like, when I'm invincible and I'm trying to pass through him, I usually jump, and there are sometimes it wears off, but you still get past him because you're able to jump over.
Yeah, that could be the case. I would say the best case, because it'll be pretty consistent every time when he throws that 3rd sword, it's always the same. You'll be pretty much in front of him, then you can just go right through him
Okay.
by walking forward.
Just hit the 3rd dagger every time. All right.
Yep. So you do that and you get through, and hopefully you have either full health now, or if you were low on health but you had enough to get through, you're very low right now, and you can die against this first red guy. And before we were saying how the red guys are bad because they do extra damage, in this case you want to touch the red guy if you're trying to kill yourself, because he'll do 2 damage and it'll be quicker than the pink guy. And you can see, like, I'm at the very top left of this room. I just walked in. If I died from this red guy right now, I would spawn in the bottom middle. And obviously the death takes a little bit, but it doesn't really cost much time. And obviously you get full health afterwards. So that's one way to go. In this case, obviously I already took my death. I have 0 lives, so we gotta go. So now it's dangerous because I took the hit from Pete. I really can't afford taking a hit from these red guys. It's very tough to get through this without taking 1 hit, because those guys at the bottom are difficult, and the red guy might follow me down there. So I'm probably gonna take 1 more hit, but ideally I can kill these 2 flying guys and get a cake. And then even if I get hit once, I should be fine. You don't need a ton of health really to get through these bosses, but you do want to have a good amount, because it's very dangerous. And I guess this part's a little tricky. I guess I can pause after it, but I'll try to get through here and then do 1 boss at a time. Alright, I didn't get the cake that I wanted, so I'm going to take that cake. And I'm trying... Ah, damn, I got a little extra hit there, but that's fine. So now I'm in this next room, and I think Minnie's body just disappeared, but that's probably because I paused at the wrong time. Nice little NES glitch. It's probably too blurry to see, but... So we got through there. That room is tricky to get through without getting hit, so it's almost better to be at low health and take the game over, or take the death here, so you can spawn at the bottom. Because if you spawn at the bottom, you can more easily dodge those 2 yellow guys that kind of stalk you, but they're still pretty hard to get around. So you get in this room with a good amount of health. You got the red guy that's flying around. You kind of want to avoid him, because what you want to do against this boss, ideally, is jump over his first projectile, then hit his second projectile so you're invincible, and go through the door. So you don't have to kill him. Now, it is a little bit dangerous, because if you touch him before you kind of open the door, if you open the door without going through it, and then you touch him, you'll insta-die. So you gotta be a little bit careful, but as long as you take damage from the projectile at the right time, pretty close to him, you should be in good shape. So I'm gonna try to get damaged by the second projectile, jump over the first, and then get through the door, and then we'll get the final boss. So we got through.
Alternate,
and you can see,
alternate
like,
safe strat is to send Minnie down there alone and have her just shoot
nice.
him.
Does that work out pretty well? I've never tried that.
It's a little
Yeah.
tricky.
It does
First of all, to
work,
get her down
but-
there, you have to hold up and kind of jump off and then hook back to the left, and hopefully she doesn't make it back. And then when she's down there, because she only shoots 1 star and he shoots so many projectiles, and you can't really walk her forward, it can take a long time to sneak through all your shots. So you're gonna lose like 10, 15 seconds easy, but it is completely safe.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, because I'm sure if you practice it, you can get it consistently, and obviously it's safer, because that guy can be dangerous. Actually, there was a way I used to try to do it, where I wouldn't even damage boost through the projectile, I would just jump right over. And if you time it right, you can jump over his head and trigger the door, and then walk back a little bit to the left, and you go through the door without him touching you. But that's even more dangerous, and doesn't even really save much time versus damage boosting through him. Alright, so now we're at the final boss, and you can see I was worried about health, but if you do things pretty well, after you take that death, no matter where it is, you have pretty good health. Like right now, I could take several hits from this boss, so even if I wanted to fight her straight up, I could, but I don't want to. I want to take a damage boost through her, and then go to the right side and shoot her from behind. Now, I always do this, and it's a little bit risky, but I think I was hearing you guys talk before about you don't like it at all, so I'm going to do it real quick, but this might not be the way to go. I was assuming it'd be pretty safe, but it is dangerous, so I'll try it now and see if I can get it, and then afterwards you guys can tell me the better way to do it. So let's see if we can get this. Jump over the first one, hit the second one, you're in the corner. Now she can't hit you in the corner, so you can just stand here. And I think Minnie's facing the other way. So what I'm going to try to do now is turn around very slightly, because if I press left too hard, or move forward to the left a little bit too much, she'll touch me and insta-kill me. Now normally I do this quickly, not waiting around talking like an idiot, so I'm kind of scared. I might actually get hit, but I'll try it. One thing you could also potentially do is have both you and Minnie turn around and face her, and you both shoot her in the head.
Yeah.
But it's very hard to do that, and it's kind of tricky anyway, so I normally just hope Mickey turns around, don't care about Minnie, and just shoot as fast as I can.
Well, if you do get Mickey turned around and you're safe, you could just press down and that turns Minnie around.
I found that it didn't.
Because when you turn around, you move Mickey like 1, maybe 2 pixels to the left, and at that point Minnie's not lined up with Mickey. So if you press down, then Minnie lines up with you.
That is amazing.
Yeah, I found that it works most of the time. There are some times that I've seen it not work though.
Yeah,
I never knew that. That actually could really help out. I didn't think about that.
That definitely helps out.
Oh yeah,
I
Mickey
wouldn't
has to
mind
move a
trying
little
to more
bit.
if that's the case.
But
Yeah, Mickey does have to move a little bit. So if you're gonna do this, you really want if you're facing to the right like I am right now, you just barely want to tap left.
Yep.
And even if it's just 1 pixel that Mickey moves to the left, if you press down, Minnie turns around,
nice.
and that makes this boss fight easy.
Yeah, because then you can get 3 hits at a time instead of 2 with just Mickey. But that's really good. And in my case, I made it the turnaround. Actually, I turned around farther than I wanted to, but I'm still okay. I mean, it looks like the boss is just slamming me into the wall, but there's a tiny bit of wiggle room there, so it's not like frame perfect turnaround or anything, but it can be tricky. And obviously, if you get hit, you're dead.
Yeah.
I always thought
also-
the sprite would actually. I always thought the instant you turn too far pixel-wise, the sprite would hit you automatically.
Yeah, no, you can actually go into the sprite a little bit. The other thing you can do is you can walk a little bit to the left when she's far away from you, and then press up so that Minnie walks and faces to the left, and then Mickey can walk back to the right again, and then turn to face left. You know, you can do all that while she's, on the left part of her side-to-side cycle, if you do that real quick. And then you don't have to worry about just tapping the button or something and going too far.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten used to it. I'm pretty consistent with it, so my original thought would suggest that people do it because I believe it's quicker. But if you guys have a better strat that's not much slower, that might be more helpful for people that don't want to risk it.
Personally, without doing that, I could either choose to stay very far back while jumping over the projectiles because it's a consistent jump, or you can get right in her face and do the same thing. Of course,
Yeah, the
if
trick
you're
about-
closest to her, that actually makes it much quicker.
Yeah. Now, for those who are looking at her projectiles and seeing that they disappear before the left edge of the screen, if you watch on my screen, I'm going to go ahead and move to that spot. It actually kicks you out of the boss fight. So don't think that that's a safe spot back there.
Never
And
do
if you
that.
notice, I'm all the way back in the key room. If you either leave the room like I did, or if you die on the boss fight, so for example, I'm going to die at the boss fight here. Okay, so I just died. it doesn't put me back in the boss fight. It actually sends me back to the key room again. So be aware of that. Plan your strats for it. I would definitely practice this fight. Because if you die, it's very costly.
And that's it. That's the final boss.
Yep.
You save Alice, who apparently is what you were trying to do the whole time. But she
Yeah.
was like outside, just hanging out in the woods, nowhere inside the castle at all.
She was in no real danger at all, so why did we go through all this?
Yeah.
Well, you
It's
can
kinda
kill it
scary
from
out
the
there.
doorway.
There could have been bears hiding in the trees.
Well, it looks like Fiesel found a sweet spot that you can hide in there. You just get Minnie to do all the shooting for you.
No, Mickey can hit some of the time. You have to jump, and then just as Mickey's head bonks, you shoot, and there's like a 1 in 3 chance that your bullet will make it past all of the boss's projectiles and actually hit her. But otherwise, Minnie's projectiles will also sometimes hit her. So it just takes a while, but if you stand in the doorway, this is 100% safe.
Yeah. Just don't go too far into the doorway, that's all.
Yeah, so this level, it's really about learning how to do the jumps right, just making sure Mickey and Minnie are stuck to each other so they both jump at the same angle, and then really finding where you're going to take your death, because that's probably the strat. You really want to plan that. I mean, I think some of my runs, actually my runs, I try not to die at all, but it's really difficult to get through there, keeping all your health.
But that's Mickey Mousecapade. I don't think there's anything else to... I don't think there's anything we didn't cover. Is there anything you guys can think of that we didn't cover? Or?
Nah, that's great.
Pretty thorough.